What is up, Hexicans and Pulsinators? Welcome back to another video. Make sure you Will Smith smash that like button on the way in. Thank you in advance. I do appreciate it. I want to talk about Jack Levin, the founder of XEN Crypto. If you don't know what XEN Crypto is, it's pretty much a knockoff of Hex. It's a cryptocurrency that you can claim for free, time lock it, and earn yield. But it's down 99%, and this guy definitely has some beef with Richard Hart. So I'm going to play this first clip that kind of sprouted the whole conversation, and then I'm going to play what Jack Levin says to respond, and I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback.
I have no expectations for you to give a Pulsechain up.
Well, I mean, I could read to you what devs are telling me, but I barely understand what they're saying. So the chance of you guys understanding it, pretty slim. We can give it a shot if you want.
That'd be great.
Yeah, okay. Once we've verified and integrated LH and Aragon, this should be good to go.
And he basically just proceeds to laugh and say, oh, this code is so complicated, and kind of act dumb. And I don't think he's acting dumb. I just think he's kind of tired of talking about really technical stuff. Ultimately, everyone only cares about the launch date and how much of a return they're going to get. People don't actually care about the code. They just want the code to release. I think Richard was kind of tired. He had been streaming for like 2 hours at this point. It's really late where he lives. And I think people are just kind of diving into this way too much. But here's what Jack Levin, founder of XEN Crypto, had to say.
Lying about?
Yes.
Chain? Specifically what?
What he's acting like he doesn't know what any of the code is. Why is he doing that?
It is my personal observation that I think he is potentially have abandoned the idea to do it, just because of what I have seen on the conference the other day. He's the questions that were asked, he couldn't really come up with anything that's any sort of roadmap for Pulsechain, which is unfortunate because I have a lot of friends that actually were eagerly waiting for this thing to launch. Why?
Yeah, we all are.
If he's lying about it, I mean, we have no idea whatever can happen to a person's personal life, or whether he's lying or not. We just do not know. What we do know is that it isn't coming anytime soon, doesn't appear to be, and it appears to be that he's not interested. Now, we can only speculate why he's not interested. Perhaps he's worried that Hex price will dump if it launches in a bear market. So that is one speculation. The other speculation could be the SEC now has both Pulse and Hex on the radar, and maybe they have advised them not to do anything until this case is settled, which is also a possibility. So things change.
Did you say it's impossible for him to not know? Like when he was trying to translate the code, do you think it's impossible for him to not know what he was reading?
What he was reading specifically,
like when he was going through the code, like it seemed like he didn't know what the hell he was reading or how to translate it. From my knowledge, if you don't understand something, you can't explain it. So is it impossible?
But here's the thing: if you're a project lead for a project, you have to know what's going on, even if you do not understand the code. So the questions that were asked at the conference were not about the code. It was about, just the roadmap, and the roadmap isn't coming. And his body language and what he said told me, and this is my personal opinion, I could be wrong, it told me that he is not even talking to his developers. Maybe there are no developers. Who knows? Maybe the Ethereum 2, which is the proof of stake, is a lot more complicated, and they need to start from square one. Now, if I were to launch a chain, I would say that forget the world's largest airdrop. It already happened on the Ethereum POW. Let's just forget this whole idea about copying the state. If people are worried about Hex not being on the new chain, well, you can airdrop the new Hex on the new chain just by looking at the Hex contract on Ethereum. It's actually very easy. It can be done in about 5 minutes. So nothing really needs to be copied state-wise. So I think this whole idea of giving free stuff or a copy of stuff you have on Ethereum seemed like an attractive idea for marketing, but ultimately it has no value. And we see that, for example, USDC on Ethereum POW has no value. So why would it have value on Pulsechain? Perhaps he thought it would have value. but maybe he realized that it has no value, and therefore they're desperately trying to come up with new ideas in terms of what to do. Now, we do know that there's quite a bit of money in the sacrifice pools that were supposed to be used on Pulsechain and whatnot. However, with the news about it, the SEC, this makes it harder to do, because that makes Pulse pretty much a Pulse was given to people who gave money to some wallet, and now this money will be used to generate more value. If that is the case, the SEC will have no problem ruling that Pulse is a security and was sold to the investors. So this whole sacrifice idea is not really true sacrifice. It's actually people are full of expectations, and nobody's fooled that just because we call it a sacrifice, it really is an investment with the anticipation of profit. If SEC has engaged with Richard and told him, hey, if you do this, we don't even have to do much and to deem it a security, so you may as well just stop everything. And so that could be the situation. So I don't think he's lying. I think he's not saying certain things that are specifically personal and private to him.
So let's unpack a few things right here. He talks about Richard Hart potentially just giving up on Pulsechain. And think about this logically. The man's already been paid $1.5 billion. Why would he keep talking about Pulsechain for the past 2 years? To me, and I'm no lawyer, it just seems like he's creating a lot of legal liability there. He further says maybe there's no devs. So we have a public dev on Twitter. I'm not sure how many of them are on Twitter, named Brett. So that's, if you do any research, you can tell there's devs. You can look at the Pulsechain GitHub. And for the new year, this past 2 weeks of January, we've been seeing lots of updates in the Pulsechain GitHub. It talks about Ethereum proof of work being the largest airdrop ever, and how, if you guys followed Ethereum proof of work, launched a few months ago, it was an empty chain, and we already have hundreds of projects being built on top of the Pulse ecosystem. Now, you have to take everything here with a grain of salt. Part of this is that it's been 2 years, and there's $1.5 billion of capital locked up. So obviously people are going to care, and people are getting impatient. But on the other side, you got to keep in mind that guy talking, one was Trayvon, and he was the guy that shilled BitConnect, which wrecked a lot of people. And the other guy is Jack Levin, who is the founder of XEN, which is a direct competitor to Hex. So my opinion here is there's a lot of ego and pride involved, and I don't think it's the most accurate opinion on Richard Hart and Pulsechain. Comment Pulsechain to the moon below if you're still watching. Subscribe if you're new. God bless you all. Until next time.